Hello everyone! So today is a bit of an interesting video. I don't know how it's going to go, to be bluntly honest, because this is the topic of character design. And character design is something that has always come very easy to me. I don't know why, it's something that I don't have to think about very much. And in the comments, people have been asking for me to make a video about how to create a character. I thought, oh yeah, that's gonna be an easy video. I make characters all the time. And then I started thinking about it and I was like, wow, this is actually really difficult. So, I don't know how this video is gonna turn out. It may be great, it may be really bad, but either way, I hope you learned something and I hope all of this makes sense. Okay, so I think I'm going to start by writing down a list of things that you may want to consider in your character design. It's not the be-all to end-all list of things that you have to include in every single character design. It's just something to give you an idea of some of the things that you should be thinking about. Lifestyle, personality, time period, fact versus fiction, which is sort of like, are you going for a fantasy character or are you going for a more realistic character? Clothing style, body type, posture, gender expression, where does your character sit? Eyes, nose, mouth, teeth, head shape, ears, eyebrows, hairstyle, ethnicity, age, and symmetry versus asymmetry. That's all that I could think of, but it is a lot. So I'm going to break it down further. Okay, so I've got 3 points here. So number 1, consider the character's context. So that's lifestyle, personality, time period, and fact versus fiction. So you can go as in-depth or as plain as you want with this. You don't have to come up with their entire backstory before you've even created the character, but it might be useful just to consider, you know, what their general personality is like. Are they evil? Are they good? What time period they're from, that sort of thing. Just really basic stuff to start off with, and then you can expand on it later on. How does their context affect their appearance? So, for example, if you go with time period, obviously someone from the 1920s isn't going to dress like someone from the year 3000, unless they're a time traveler or something, but that's all up to you. Then number 3 is general appearance. You use these things to influence their general appearance, which is obviously eyes, nose, mouth, teeth, head shape, ears, eyebrows, hairstyle, ethnicity, age, symmetry, and asymmetry. This isn't like a concrete, you must do these 3 steps in this order. This is just how I generally tend to go about creating my characters, especially because I've got so many now. I like to think of where they're going to fit in with the story before I actually start making them. That's how I do it, but you can definitely mix these steps up a bit and expand out of these steps more. Like, you can come up with their appearance before you've even thought about where they're from. So you can do these steps however you want. You don't even have to use these steps, but that's just how I do it. Shapes are very important when you're creating a character. So if I just do like a quick sketch of my character Archie, you can see he's got a very crooked nose, big eyes, big, very circular eyes, big square teeth, and a very square jaw. This is the worst picture I've ever drawn of him, but you get the picture. So that's Archie. And as you can see, he's not very symmetrical, as opposed to someone like my character Monty, who is based entirely off triangles. He's very sharp, he's very symmetrical, his nose is very pointy. He's just a pointy human being, and he's got a very pointy mouth and a missing tooth. So they've all got a mix of symmetry and asymmetry. Archie more so than Monty, because he's got a very crooked nose, crooked head, you know, whatever. Monty is more symmetrical in the face than Archie, and more pointy and all that good stuff, and it makes them look very different from each other. Hopefully they look like 2 separate people. I I did not do his hair curly enough, but whatever. Archie's based more off square, angular shapes, and Monty is based more off triangular, sharp shapes. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've outlined and colored Archie and Monty, and I've added 4 more characters, Ember, Erica, Vivian, and Talbot. By coloring them in, I wanted to sort of explain how you can use color in a character design. So, you know, you're probably familiar with like complementary color schemes or contrasting colors or whatever you want to call them. You know, the color wheel, how colors opposite each other on the color wheel tend to go together. That's basically the principle that you can use when it comes to character design. So, for example, if you've got 2 characters that are constantly going to be seen together, like Archie and Monty here, you want contrasting color palettes. You don't have to have 2 characters to utilize color schemes. So, an example of that is Ember. He's got white hair, red eyes, and gold glasses. So, if I were to draw his full body, a lot of the time I draw him wearing blue because blue contrasts red and goes well with yellow or gold. But in Erica's case, I have chosen a more neutral color palette with lots of browns and golds and reds. So there's like reds in her lips. You can't really see because it's such a small drawing, but her eyes are gold. Her skin's got sort of a golden undertone, and she's got dark brown hair. And the reason why I chose Vivian and Talbot, they are very, very minor characters of mine. I hardly ever draw them. But the reason I chose them is because they're twins. So this is an example of picking and choosing which facial features and shapes will be shared between 2 characters and which things that you should make different. So obviously they have the same nose. You can't see their eyes because Vivian wears sunglasses 24/7. Their lips are a little bit different but a similar shape. And their hair both does the swoopy swoop, but they maintain different hairstyles. So they continue to be 2 separate people, but they're obviously from the same parents. With all that said, let us get into some character design. So his name will be George Avery. He will be a man, but he's going to be a very eccentric man. So there's no way in hell he's going to conform to the early 20th century's idea of gender. So he's going to be a little bit eccentric, but let's be real, it doesn't take much to be eccentric in the 1920s. Heck, he could even be a drag queen. I don't know. We'll see. And he's going to be very confident, very carefree. Hold on, we have to write possibly a drag queen. Okay, so old Georgie boy here. Let us start with some shapes. We'll try a square jaw, a triangular jaw, circular jaw, and then we'll do some side-on ones. He's going to have a very straight nose, I think. He's going to have like very smiley eyes. Kinda sly, to be honest. He needs those big drag queen lips. I feel like even when he's not in drag, he would be wearing some form of makeup, such as lipstick, and all of the people he comes in contact with would be like, "Oh, this is the early 20th century. What do you think you're doing, Georgie?" It's very rare that you stick with the first drawing you ever do of a character. You usually develop them in some way or another. For example, this was my first ever drawing of Archie. And as you can see, he has changed quite a bit, and he's a much stronger character design now than he was back then. Also, if you've been hearing like sounds this whole time, it's because I have like a plasticky jacket on, so it sounds really... I'm liking the eyes, not quite sure about the nose, but we'll go with it again because I do kind of like it. It just doesn't look great there. Definitely keeping those eyebrows. Oh, they're cute. They're cute. Look at how cute that is. We'll give him one earring. Oh, that is so cute. Okay, I think I've already found my favorite design for Georgie, but we will continue anyway. See, to me already, that doesn't look like Georgie. This looks like Georgie. For me, as soon as I name a character and I draw them for the first time, I can tell straight off whether that is, like, is that a Georgie? That's definitely a Georgie right there in the middle, but I will finish this one here. That's not a Georgie. It's definitely not a Georgie. That's a Georgie. That's the one thing with having so many characters, you can fall into same face syndrome. So whenever I make a character, I'm always really conscious of like, does it look like another character? And like giving this character really curly hair, very similar to Monty's, and thin eyebrows and, you know, sharp features. I am terrified that it's going to end up looking like Monty, but so far, he looks different enough for my liking. Let's see what happens if we just... Oh, lordy lordy. I kinda like that. It looks horrifying, but I kinda like it. I've been playing a lot of Skyward Sword recently, so like my character designs are getting more, I wouldn't say outrageous, but a bit more shape orientated, because before all of my characters have been very like realistic, but now I'm like, yeah, that's a nose, and that's an eye, and that's a mouth, and you know, because Skyward Sword, they have some pretty cool character designs on Skyloft, okay? Oh wow, I'm really loving this side profile. Now I'm kind of torn. If you can't seem to draw your character consistently at first, don't worry, because the more you draw them, the more consistent you'll become. Do they look like the same character? No, they don't. That's sad. Just look at how good that looks. Am I the only one who's really fascinated by this? So now that we have our 3 character designs, now comes the moment of truth. Which one shall I pick? It's between 1 and 2 for me. I'll put up a poll so I can see which one you guys like the best. But I think I'm leaning more towards number 2. I definitely have to work on number 2's side profile. So here I will draw a bigger version of Georgie on sort of a 3/4 angle. Oh wow. How sly does he look? Jesus Christ. Ooh, he looks so sly. He looks like he's up to something, and I love it. See, this is like innocent Georgie, and this is like Georgie is up to something. Georgie knows. I'm going to give him a curved hairline. I give a lot of my characters very straight hairlines, but that's another thing that you can work with is the hairline. And his hairline's going to be kind of far back, I think. Not that he's balding, he's just got a big head. He's going to have quite a thin neck, I think. Because I want him to have like some feminine features and some masculine features. That way he can do either. Whatever takes his fancy. I was a bit nervous, believe it or not, to make this video. Purely because I knew that I would have to create a character on the spot. Which usually all of my characters have like days or weeks of planning and drawing and things going into them before I actually show anyone. But I'm really happy with how Georgie's turned out, to be honest. Let's just get a reference photo of James Stewart. I don't care if he was from like the 30s and 40s. I mean, the fashion sense is the same. The angle that I've drawn them on is basically the same. All you have to do is persist. As much as it may pain you or annoy you, you have to persist with character design, otherwise you'll never get through it. And what's the fun in that? Okay, so as you can see, I got a little bit carried away and I decided that this character here was too good to go to waste. So I've created 2 characters today. Thought I'd only be creating 1, but we've got 2. So we've got old Georgie boy, George Avery, And now we have Oscar Davies. Not sure about the last name, but I'm liking the first name Oscar for this guy. And with a new character comes a new aspect to the story. They are a crime-fighting duo dressed in drag. I'm a genius. I might quickly color this in and then I'll come back, say a couple more things that need to be said, and then we'll be done. So there we have it, George Avery and Oscar Davies in the flesh. We got 2 characters for the price of 1 in this video. I was only going to make Georgie Boy here, but we ended up with Oscar too. So I think I did pretty well, considering I was very nervous about not being able to create any characters in this video. So I hope this video was of some help. I hope you found some tips that you can use in creating your own characters. If you end up making some characters with some of these tips, feel free to tag me on Instagram or Tumblr or Twitter. Leave your video suggestions down below. Did you like this video? Would you like to see more? Give me them suggestions. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. I'll see you in the next video. Bye! I see that tail wagging. I see that tail wagging. My chicken has little baby chickens. Look at them.